Jahmyr Gibbs has quickly become one of the most electric players in football. A home run hitter every time he touches the ball and a nightmare for defenses in both the pass and run game. But not long ago, he wasn't even a top 10 pick. 11 players heard their name called before Gibbs did on draft night. Some have lived up to the hype, others not so much. So in today's video, we're going to go over the 11 players that were drafted before Jahmyr Gibbs and how they stack up against him. Now, the first man taken in the 2023 NFL Draft was, of course, Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers. Young was an absolute phenomenal college player, winning a national championship and a Heisman Trophy during 3 seasons at Alabama, which led him to being the consensus top pick for the league's worst team. However, Young's pro career got off to a brutal start, throwing just 11 touchdowns in 16 games and finishing with a passer rating of 73.7 for the year, the worst mark in the NFL. And after a few first terrible games in 2024, he was benched for Andy Dalton, with many wondering if his long-term future in the league was in the balance. However, no worries though, because he did finish strong down the stretch in 2024. He threw 7 touchdowns and 0 interceptions across the final 3 games while leading the Panthers to a pair of overtime wins. And yes, of course, him and the Panthers still do have a very long way to go to get back on the right track, but for the most part now, at least they are headed in the right direction, both Bryce Young and the Panthers. Going into 2025, Young's reputation has been largely rebuilt, and he stands as a lesson not to write off young quarterbacks too early. Now, one player who did hit the ground running from day one was pick number 2, CJ Stroud. Stroud was selected by the Houston Texans directly after Young, and he immediately justified his new team's selection with one of the best rookie seasons we've seen in years. Stroud threw 23 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions, along with 4,108 yards, guiding the Texans to a 10-7 record and an unlikely single-season turnaround. In his playoff debut against Cleveland, Stroud was almost flawless, throwing 3 touchdowns and 274 yards for an almost perfect passer rating before falling to Baltimore in the divisional round. And now, yes, Stroud did suffer a little bit of a sophomore slump last year, especially not after meeting or even exceeding the expectations in the bar that he set from his rookie season. Nonetheless though, he still led Houston to another AFC title and another playoff victory, this time against the LA Chargers. Expectations were of course high for Stroud, but with a Rookie of the Year award, a Pro Bowl selection, and 2 playoff wins already, it's fair to say the Ohio State alumni has more than surpassed them. And at the age of just 23, he already looks like the franchise quarterback in Houston for a very, very long time. Another key part of the Texans rebuild has been defensive end Will Anderson, who Houston traded the 12th pick, a first-round pick in 2025, and several other pieces in a blockbuster trade to move all the way up to pick number 3. And no doubt, Anderson has repaid this faith almost immediately in his rookie season, which began with a sack in his debut against the Ravens. Anderson only got better as the year went on, eventually finishing the year with 7 sacks and 45 tackles, including 10 for loss. As a result, he was voted Defensive Rookie of the Year, completing a sweep of the rookie awards, along with CJ Stroud winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And last season, he was even better, putting up 11 sacks as he formed a formidable partnership with free agent acquisition Danielle Hunter and became a cornerstone of a defense which ranked 6th in the league in yardage. In just 2 seasons, both Stroud and Anderson have helped transform Houston from one of the NFL's worst teams into a real contender. While trading up for Anderson was a move that definitely raised eyebrows that draft night, there's no doubt that has really paid dividends so far. Now, next up though is one of the biggest reaches we've seen in recent years, with the Colts drafting Anthony Richardson 4th overall. Following the retirement of Matt Ryan, the Indianapolis Colts required a new quarterback for 2023 and went with Anthony Richardson, who had just 13 starts to his name as a Florida Gator. Richardson is a phenomenal athlete who has flash potential in college, but when thrust into a day 1 starting role, he looked anything but NFL ready. His fairly promising rookie season was cut short just 4 games in, but his sophomore year was a real letdown, and already his future as a starter is in real jeopardy. Richardson threw 12 interceptions and just 8 touchdowns, with a completion percentage of less than 50% in one of the worst quarterback seasons in recent memory. Richardson's athleticism and running ability clearly gave the Colts too much faith in him, and he would almost certainly have benefited from at least 1 more year in college. Sadly, right now it does look like he's destined to go down as a really disappointing bust, but just like Bryce Young, who does know, and maybe he can turn it around this year in 2025. At number 5 though, we have Devon Witherspoon Witherspoon, drafted out of Illinois by the Seattle Seahawks. This pick ended up with Seattle as a result of the Russell Wilson trade with Denver, and Witherspoon is another piece of that trade that's worked out in Seattle's favor. During his rookie season, he cemented his place as a starting cornerback on the Seahawks defense, and a 97-yard interception return touchdown against the New York Giants.
This one's picked. Back the other way, Witherspoon. Devin Witherspoon cuts back.
All of which earned him a spot on the all-rookie team. Witherspoon had another impressive showing in 2024 as one of the best performances on that defense, earning a second straight Pro Bowl selection and already a fan favorite in Seattle. Truthfully, Witherspoon has been a great pick and absolutely looks like his best years are still yet to come. With the 6th pick in the draft, the Cardinals took Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State to bolster their offensive line. Johnson was a consensus All-American during his time as a Buckeye, and he adapted well to the pros early on, playing every offensive snap in his rookie year, the only Cardinal who did so. Johnson was then moved from right to left tackle for the 2024 season, and he impressed there as well, with PFF ranking him 12th out of 140 tackles last year in just his second year in the league. So if Kyler Murray is ever going to reach his full potential, the continued excellence of Paris Johnson in Arizona will be a big part of that. The next man off the board was Tyree Wilson to the Las Vegas Raiders, where Wilson was an All-American as a defensive end at Texas Tech and was selected by the Raiders franchise looking for a complement to All-Pro Max Crosby. However, in just 2 seasons, Wilson has yet to reach his full potential, having started just 4 games on the edge for Vegas with 8 sacks and 56 tackles across 2 full seasons. Wilson clearly still has time on his side, but so far he hasn't delivered with what the Raiders were hoping for from a top 10 selection. Now, the first running back taken in this draft was Bijan Robinson, selected by the Atlanta Falcons with pick number 8. Robinson is the only running back taken over Jahmyr Gibbs, and like Gibbs, he's been a real threat both on the ground and through the air for his new team. After an impressive rookie season with 1,463 scrimmage yards, Robinson took a major leap for his second season under new head coach Raheem Morris. Robinson managed 15 total touchdowns and a sensational 1,887 scrimmage yards in 2024, beaten only by Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Last year though, Robinson earned a well-deserved first Pro Bowl selection for his efforts and has fully justified the faith the Falcons placed in him by drafting him so highly. If this Atlanta team is to turn around their fortunes and end a 7-year playout drought, it seems clear they'll need Robinson to be at his very best, offering young quarterback Michael Penix Jr. something to lean on going forward. However, who knows, maybe they should have just taken Jahmyr Gibbs instead. Now, one team that absolutely nailed their selection in the first round was the Philadelphia Eagles, who took Jalen Carter with the 9th overall pick. Carter was expected to go higher in the draft, but he ended up falling to 9, largely due to character concerns and legal issues stemming from his involvement in street racing after his Georgia Bulldogs won the national championship in 2023. The beneficiaries of this fall were the Philadelphia Eagles, who put faith in Carter as a game-wrecking defensive tackle, which he absolutely is. In his rookie season, he managed 6 sacks, 33 tackles, and 2 forced fumbles, and was named to the all-rookie team, narrowly missing out on the Defensive Rookie of the Year award to Will Anderson Jr. Last year though, he was even better, as Carter recorded 42 tackles, including 12 for loss, as the Eagles put up the very best defense in football by yards allowed in a season, which ended with a crushing Super Bowl win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Carter was also named to a second-team All-Pro last season and is already one of the very best in his position. At this point, you expect him to earn a few more All-Pro selections in his career, and who knows, maybe even a few more rings. At pick number 10 though, the Bears selected Darnell Wright out of Tennessee at offensive tackle. While the Bears have had well-documented offensive line woes over the last few seasons, Wright has not been the main issue and has in fact been a rare bright spot on that offensive line. In 2024, Wright ranked 16th among tackles according to PFF, despite the Bears giving up a league-high 68 sacks. This offseason, the Bears have added reinforcements in the form of 4-time All-Pro guard Joe Thuney, acquired in a trade from the Chiefs. And truthfully, Wright and Bears fans will be hoping that this makes this unit far stronger this year, as Caleb Williams tries to end 4 decades of hurt in the Windy City. And now finally, the last player drafted before the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs was Tennessee Titans guard Peter Skoronski. Skoronski has had a tough time of it in his first 2 seasons in the league, as the Titans ended last year's campaign as the NFL's worst team. He's also struggled somewhat with his PFF grade being a 60.3, ranking him in the middle of the pack, as he hasn't quite had the impact that the Titans were hoping for. Nonetheless though, he's become an important part to the team, playing every offensive snap in 2024, and he'll play a big role in the blocking game for Cam Ward this year as the Titans try to rebuild going forward. And then at pick number 12, the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs.
Lions select Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, Alabama.
Gibbs was a real star in college during his time at both Georgia Tech and Alabama. In 2021 and 2022, he was named second-team All-American, showing plenty of potential for the team that he would be drafted by once he did declare for the 2023 NFL Draft. As we've all come to see now, that team turned out to be the Detroit Lions, who also acquired veteran running back David Montgomery in the same offseason. In the first 7 weeks of his NFL career, his opportunities were somewhat limited as he had to share touches with Montgomery as Dan Campbell and his coaching staff worked out how to best utilize him. His real breakout game, though, came in Week 8 against the Raiders, where he had 189 scrimmage yards and a touchdown, showing the speed, agility, and athleticism that made him so special throughout that one. Since then, too, he hasn't looked back and has been one of the league's premier running backs. During the 2024 season, he displaced David Montgomery as the Lions running back 1 and finished the season with a superb 1,929 scrimmage yards and 20 total touchdowns, which led the league as the Lions charged to a 15-2 record backed by the league's best offense. Gibbs was no doubt magnificent last season, and he's a fantastic asset to this Detroit offense, adding a different dimension to an already stacked offense, which also contains Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Sam Laporta, alongside the league's best running back duo of Montgomery and Gibbs. Gibbs can juke defenders or simply blow past them, and he's quickly become one of the league's most electric must-watch talents. He averages 5.6 yards an attempt on the ground and had 517 yards through the air, only behind Devon Achane and Alvin Kamara amongst running backs. Quite simply, he's the best true dual threat running back in the league just now, and at this rate, he could be the best back in the league full stop sooner than people realize. And because of that too, the Detroit Lions are eternally grateful to the 10 teams who ignored him with the first 11 picks of this draft.